Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Today what I'm talking about is common horse misconceptions. People who maybe don't have a horse, or people who do have horses even, we have some misconceptions that come around in the equestrian community. This is again just my opinion. This is not for sure fact. Again, please contact your veterinarian if you want to check about any of these things. These are just common horse misconceptions that I have found not to be true, at least for my horses. Now again, a lot of this depends on the work your horse is doing. Are they being, worked 5 times a week? Are they only ridden like twice a year? Because we do have both on my property that don't get worked as much at all because they're pretty much retired or semi-retired. So a lot of those misconceptions are because of those horses. So again, if your horse has any medical issues, or if they're ridden a lot, if they have any other underlying things that could also cause this not to be true. So you check with your vet and you know what's best for your horse. So some common horse misconceptions is number 1, they need to be rugged all the time. Rug would be blankets, stable blankets, turnout blankets. I know I have a lot of turnout blankets, and I have a lot of different types of blankets, but different sizes because I do have different horses a lot. But it's amazing to me how many blankets someone will have for one horse. They're like, oh, well, I have a heavyweight, medium weight, lightweight, turnout sheet, fly sheet. The list goes on and on, which is kind of crazy to me. My horses most of the time live outside a lot without any rugs on them. So now again, if I have 2 horses that are in semi-retirement and they do not get any rugs at all. During the winter time, they have a shelter that they can go into, which is the barn, and I do have a barn I can take them in and shut them up in it, but they really do just fine because most of the horses will be able to do just fine as long as you don't like clip them and stuff like that. Now the ones I have in really heavy work, I do rug them in the wintertime with a turnout sheet, but I don't rug them during the summertime. I do have like a stable sheet that I'll put on them before a show, just try to keep them clean, but it doesn't have any kind of like temperature to it or anything. So that's number 1. Number 2, horses have to be fed grain twice a day. Right now, the horse I am working with right now, he is getting fed twice a day, but he is being worked 5 to 6 days a week, and he's a hard keeper, so he's hard to keep weight on him anyway, and grass is just now starting to grow and that kind of thing. Again, my semi-retireds don't get any grain at all, and I have to limit their grass because they're not getting exercise, and some of them are easy keepers. So again, just depends on the horse, so you have to look at each one independently. Number 3, horses will maintain their training. That is not true. If you turn a horse out and don't ride them for 12 weeks, then when you get on them, they may not be the same horse you turned out. So horses do best in a consistent program, but I know that's not possible for everyone. But now that's some ways. Okay, for example, I have a 28-year-old who is semi-retired. So she's retired, but I do ride her every so often. When I get on her, I don't have to break her like a brand new horse. OTTBs, or off the track thoroughbreds, are fast. That is totally not true. For example, I have Watch Rock out here now that is for sale, and he is not very quick. He would prefer to walk and stop. Now, he did win on the track, but he is older now. So as they get older, sometimes they just kind of get over the whole like sprinting crazy thoroughbred thing. Next, number 5, all horses must be shod. Again, not true. Many of my horses do very, very well barefoot. Some horses are needing to be shod. It kind of depends on situation. Currently, I do shoe a lot of my horses who are in work 6 days a week on the fronts, just because they're working all the time. But all of my retired or semi-retired, and a lot of the horses I do keep in work, do stay barefoot, and they do really, really good. But if you are trying to transition from shoes to barefoot, do realize it will take them a little bit of time to not be a little bit touchy with the gravel. So just be careful with that. And again, riding them on multiple surfaces, pavement, gravel, dirt, grass, will help them to do better at that. Next, horses hate being ridden. Well, that's not true. My 28-year-old horse comes out and she loves to be ridden. She loves to go have fun. Now, she doesn't necessarily want to be caught and cleaned up and all that kind of stuff, but she does love it when you're on her. So every horse doesn't necessarily love it, but most of them really do enjoy getting to do work and getting to do something for fun. Because if they just stay in the pasture all day, that's not exciting. Number 7, horses riding at home is just like at a stable. Not true, right? So horse riding stable, they ride the same path every day, multiple times a day. If you're riding a horse out in the big pasture, they may go left, right, forward, backward, whatever. You got to be ready for whatever they throw at you. So just be aware that it's not exactly the same thing for sure. Number 8, having horses is very expensive. It is a misconception because it can be very expensive, but also doesn't have to be. If you have the property at your house, that's where you really can cut down on the cost. For example, boarding can cost anywhere from $150 to like $650, just around here even, for boarding. So if you're not doing boarding, then you're going to be able to cut a lot of that expense down. The rest of the expense is really just going to be on farrier work, which is going to be, if you just trim them, about 40 bucks every like 2 months or something. And if you don't feed grain and stuff like that. So all that are extra, but as far as like bare minimum, and if you have good pasture, good hay, then there you go. So just letting you know, it doesn't have to be very expensive. Number 9, every horse can jump. Not true. Every horse can go over an obstacle, but can they go and make a jump over a jump? And no. Some of the gaited horses I've had, for sure, they just completely don't understand what I'm talking about, to jump at a quick speed. They're like, let's stop down and barely walk over it. So most horses, when you ask them, they will jump naturally over them. So that is, most of them can, but not all of them. And number 10, is it easy to breed horses? Number 10, it can be, depending on your horse, but we've tried to breed my horse 3 or 4 times and she just hasn't taken. So every horse isn't necessarily easy to breed. You have to find out when they're in heat and all that kind of stuff. It's just not as easy as you would think it would be. So it can be a little bit challenging, so just know that. So those are some of the common horse misconceptions. If you have any others, please comment down below. I'd love to see what you say is a common horse misconception. So thank you so much for watching. God bless, be adventurous, and I'll see you next time. Bye.